is hot in here. Hot. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a review of the NYX Total Cover. Today's going to be a review of the NYX Total Control. Jesus. Today's going to be a review of the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. It looks like this. It comes in a little bottle with a little dropper. And it was kind of a strange foundation that I tested out. Ooh, it's open. That could have been a disaster. Yeah, I got tons of tweets for you guys asking me to review it. So I got it in and I'm gonna review it for you guys and tell you my thoughts. Be sure to subscribe to my channel before you leave and we're gonna jump right in the video. So this is an interesting foundation, and I say that because I had an interesting time with like my first impressions of it. And I want you to know right now I am wearing it and it's been on my face for around 9 hours. So what? It's hanging in there. Sold on NYX.com and at Ulta, and I believe there are 14 different shades of it, and it cost me I think $14.99. I'll put the price over here because I might be wrong. I also got the brush that they recommend with it. The brush is not that dense, and I think it's smart to get the brush with it because unless you have like, I just don't feel like a kabuki brush would be very good with this foundation because kabuki brushes are a bit dense and this is super liquidy, and I feel like a dense brush would move the foundation too much around, and this one just like, it bends so easy and it's so soft. And it also has a divot in the center for you to drop the product into that kind of holds onto the product, and then you can blend it on your face. I had a very interesting time applying this foundation to my face. You apply it, the whole point in it is you can get different coverages with it depending on what you want, so you can kind of customize what you want out of it. 1 to 2 drops is medium coverage, and then 3 to 4 drops, I don't know if they recommend 4 drops, but 3 to 4 drops is full coverage foundation. I started off with medium coverage, and the weird part is when I started to apply it, I added 1 to 2 drops, and then I swirled it across my face, just like slowly kind of massaging it. And it was weird because I felt like it was just streaky liquid all over my face, and it looked a hot mess at first. That was my honest opinion. And it also wasn't covering anything. Like, you could just see streaks of wet foundation across my face. And then like after less than 30 seconds, it's almost like the foundation started to adhere to my face and like started to disperse and like stick to my skin. Rather than being like a liquidy streak that you could just wipe off, it just really started to thicken up and like really apply to my skin. So then my opinion started to change a little bit, and about that time I was on to my 3rd and 4th drop, and I was making it really full coverage, which is what I would typically do anyways. I like full coverage foundations, and that's what I wore today. A full coverage foundation, and I did go ahead and add my concealer, bronzer, highlight, blush, and a setting powder on it to treat it just like I would any other foundation. This way it gets a really fair review. Because the product is super liquidy at first, I definitely recommend using a primer with it, but if you do, make sure your primer or moisturizer is dried 100% on your skin. If you've ever applied a foundation with your primer still a little bit wet or tacky on your skin, I think that this would really adhere to those spots, and you might get like a heavier coverage in those spots. So you want to just make sure you get like a really even application. And by the way, my forehead is a smidge bit shiny, and I didn't add powder on top of it just because I wanted you guys to see a good visual of what it looks like after 9 hours and no touch-ups whatsoever. I normally have a really wet forehead at the end of the day. It's just like greasy, honey. But this one is, I mean, it's not too bad. It is a little bit shiny, but that's per usual, and this area is normally a little shiny on me too. But the rest of my skin is really dry, so I kind of have combination skin. I do recommend a primer because I think it would possibly stick to dry spots. I use the Angel Veil primer from NYX because it's like a silicone base, not really moisturizing per se, and it dries evenly on your skin, whereas moisturizers or moisturizing primers can leave like more dewy areas, and this you just have to be careful with in that aspect. As far as application, I highly recommend getting the brush with it. I was happy with the application with the brush. It was an interesting application. Let it set on your skin for like 10 to 30, anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds before you really judge it, because I was a little shook at first, and then it played out much better. If you don't get this brush, just make sure you have a really dense brush, because I think a kabuki would move it around too much, and I think a beauty blender would drink up every bit of product, even dampened. I haven't tried out an Artiste brush with it. which is these little guys. So I don't know, but these are really dense brushes. So I don't know if they would move around the product too much or not. I just don't know. I think it is somewhat long wearing. It's not the longest wearing foundation I ever applied. I have some areas around my nose where it just wouldn't hang on to. I am a little bit of a face toucher, as anyone else. Like, you subconsciously touch your face a little bit throughout the day. So I noticed some areas throughout my chin that didn't have much foundation on it, and it's probably because I touched my face and like my nose right here. I touched my nose. It was decent long wearing. It wasn't like anything crazy or amazing, but it was decent. I liked it. I do like the foundation after wearing it. I want to keep trying it out, but as far as right now, I'm really impressed with it. It has a decent price point on it. It's an interesting concept for a foundation. I thought it wasn't the most full coverage ever foundation, but I was able to build it up for a lot of coverage. So it wasn't bad. Like, I don't think it got to the point where it was like Milani coverage foundation. I think it was a little bit less than that with 3 to 4 drops, but it was full enough coverage to make me satisfied. I do wear a super full coverage foundation, like really heavy full coverage. I'm normally way more greasy looking than this. So for the amount of coverage and like my payoff and skin looks like at the end of the day, I do like that. I think it's really great. I'm in shade True Beige, which works out pretty nice for my skin. I think I will be beige, just shade 11 beige, once I get a little bit of sun on my skin. You don't get like a ton of product in this, but you're supposed to use such a little amount of product that this would actually last you a long time. So I could see why they didn't put it in like a huge bottle like this, because you just use so little of this. Like, a little bit goes such a long way. You just have to give it a chance to kind of adhere to your skin and then move it around, because once you start moving it around, like I said in the beginning, it's just so liquidy and like streaky. You're just like, what? And then it really starts to like gather up on your skin and kind of stick to your skin, and then you're moving around a more full coverage or more full foundation. I'm gonna keep wearing it. I think it looked nice at the end of the day. I think it was decent long wearing. I think it's not the fullest full coverage, but you can get nice coverage with it, or medium to light coverage with it, which is nice that you can really customize that. I think this would definitely work for people with dry skin. If you don't have a lot of dry spots going on, and then I think it could work for people with oily skin. I wouldn't use 4 drops. If you have oily skin, I would stick with a lesser amount, and always just make sure you set your foundation. I just add a little bit of powder on it to make sure it lasts. You know what I mean? That's my review of the foundation. It's very interesting. Is that a good word? Probably not. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was insightful, and I hope it answers some questions for you. Be sure and subscribe to my channel before you leave, because I'm giving away a MacBook Pro, and all you have to do is be subscribed to enter. And this giveaway ends January the 15th. So I'll be picking a winner and announcing it in a video towards January the 15th. I love you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.